Welcome, Neil.
How you doing, guys? Okay. Good evening. Thanks for coming. Obviously, fans forums. I think they're a good thing for the football club. We did one a couple of years ago when me and Nick took over, and I think it's a good way of getting across what's happening. Players in, players out, plans for the new season, and generally just what's happening at the football club, because over the next, or the last month and the next 2 months, it's quite a busy time, and you guys don't really get to see that. The press reports that we have through the newsletter and the Express and Star, they show you bits of what's happening, but not really, the crux of the matter. So I think these fans forums, I think we should do one a season or two a season, really, so you guys are fully aware of what's happening. Never really want to hide anything from you. As much information we can give you, that's real, and that's a difficult thing, obviously, through the close season, because there's a lot of rumours and stuff. But any real information we can give you that's good for the football club, we will do. So feel free to ask your questions, and I'll try and answer them the best I can.
Any questions?
Anybody?
We can take the mic round the floor.
I don't know if the mic will
Oh,
work.
is the mic not working?
How many players are you looking for and what position?
Well, we've lost a few.
Yeah.
Firstly, we've lost Ben. Ben's is probably going to pack in playing football, if the truth be known, because of work commitments. So there's one. Wayne's retired. 2. Stuart McNaught's moved on. 3 to Sutton Coldfield. Outside of that, have we lost anybody else? Ahmed has moved on and signed a lucrative contract at Leamington. So we wish him well with that. So we've lost 4. At this current moment in time, I think we've brought 4 in. 5 possibly. We can announce another one tonight, maybe. 4 we brought in, good players. We did it very early. Cross midfield, Chris Taylor, as you're all probably aware of, Mitchell Tolley, Jack Sherratt from Kidsgrove, and Rob Stevenson, which 4 real good signings that we're really happy with. And how many are we looking for? Anything that strengthens the team, really, and the squad. I think perhaps we're looking for probably another 3 players in key positions. Obviously losing Ben and Ahmed, I think it's quite obvious we need to bring in at least 1 striker, potentially 2, and obviously with Wayne retiring, we'll probably be looking at a centre half. And things are progressing well. The fact that we've strengthened in the midfield department pretty early on in pre-season, I'm really pleased with. And the 4 that we've signed, I couldn't be happier with. The 3 out of the 4 have got step 3 experience. Chris Taylor and Mitchell Tolley are fantastic signings for us. Sought after players at Conference North level, let alone step 3. A real up and coming player in Jack Sherratt, who everybody was after. Trust me, there was loads of clubs after Jack Sherratt, and it didn't take him 5 minutes to agree to sign for us, which was fantastic. And potentially a winger that really excites me in Rob Stevenson, who's been at the football club before, so you know a lot about him, but a couple of 2 or 3 years older, and I think will be an asset to the football club. So in terms of where we're at in pre-season, we've strengthened brilliantly, and we just need 2 or 3 to drop in for us now, obviously in them forward areas and a centre half.
What's your target for this season? Where do you want to be at the end of the season?
Champions. There's no point. We have to be realistic. Obviously, we're going up a level, and at this current moment in time, we're still a little bit light players-wise. But August the 16th is a long way off. So there's still a lot of time before we finalise the squad. But we won't be entering the league just to make up the numbers. We got promoted last year. The club has got momentum on and off the pitch. We're doing well off the pitch. Things are really bubbling. And we've had a fantastic season. On the pitch, we've won the league. We've got momentum. The players we've brought into the football club already have been told that we're looking to go again and try and get the club promoted again. And the next 2 or 3 players that come on board will be told exactly the same. and unless they're up for that challenge, they won't be signed. The existing players that are staying, they'll all be aware of mine and Nick and Martin's mentality. We're not looking to make numbers up. We'll be challenging. We'll be trying to challenge, whether that's as champions or whether that's as in the playoffs. We'll be trying. Now you have to have a certain amount of realism about that. You know, we're going into a higher standard, and it is a lot more difficult. You know, we've managed at step 3 for 4 or 5 years at previous club we were at, and there is a difference, a massive difference in the type of player that you sign, not just in technical ability but on size and stature, and then with the type of players we're looking at to make sure that we're right physically for the season ahead, but also right technically for the season ahead. But the ambitions will be to try and get the club promoted, and if we can do that at step 3 in the first season, we'll have a go.
Have we got some good young players coming through then from the youth academy?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we won the under-21s league as well, which, you know, up till 2 or 3 weeks ago, you know, was nip and tuck. We've won the under-20s, so there's, you know, we've got 1 or 2 coming through that, which probably a little bit early for them at step 3, but maybe at step 4 there might be a chance for them. But we have got some good young lads. You know, you look what we've got in the squad. Ryan Winter, who was with us, left and come back. Hasn't really played a lot of football. George Cater, Gary's lad. Joe Thomas, good young lads. You know, you ask about young players. Sam Griffiths, Alex Melbourne. They're early 20s.
Yeah, but we had some young players before and they went at this level and they found it was a bit too tough for them.
Yeah.
It was a bit
Yeah.
rough.
I have no doubt that the young lads we've got within the football team, given opportunity, will be okay. Got a lot to learn, but they're at a football club with the right management team that will help them. Someone asked me a couple of days ago, you know, if you don't get the targets that we're targeting, the players that we want, what are you going to do, Kitch? And if the season started tomorrow, we've got a squad of 17, 18 players, we'd be okay. We'd be okay. We probably wouldn't go on to win the league. We probably wouldn't challenge for the playoffs, but we'd be okay. And the good young players we've got at the football club, of which we don't really know whether they're going to be good enough yet for step 3, I'm going to be brutally honest with you, but we would coach them. And me, Nick and Martin would make sure that we got through the season and those players I've just mentioned will be better for the experience. So in answer to your question, we've got some real good up and coming youngsters. They need coaching, they need some guidance and development, and there's no better opportunity for them to be at the football club and give them the opportunity. If that happens and we don't get the players that we're looking to sign to strengthen the football club, then we'll go with what we've got.
Can I just make an addition to that regarding George? He turned down a contract at Sheffield Wednesday last week to go into Sheffield Wednesday's under-21s. And the reason he turned it down is because he wants to play at Stafford Rangers. That's the ambition of the young lads for this season. Next one.
Have any of last season's squad not recommitted to this season so far, and if not, why not?
No. There's everybody's recommitted. The 4 that I've mentioned have moved on, and we've obviously brought 4 in, not to replace those guys, but 4 to bring us back up to the numbers. We've also agreed a deal with a left-sided player, a lad called James Bowen, left back, who is a professional footballer at Cheltenham Town. He gets released on June the 30th. As soon as he gets his release forms and his contract's terminated, he becomes a Stafford Rangers player on July the 1st. So that brings up to 5. Left back, left-sided midfielder, so that brings the numbers up to 5 coming in. The other lads have all recommitted via handshake and verbal commitments. There are 2 or 3 of those players that I have asked to come back with a view to earning a better deal at the football club by coming back to us in better shape and better form than perhaps they were at the end of last season. And they have agreed to that, and if they get through pre-season and they show a willingness to play at a higher level and be in the shape that we think they should be in, then they will get a deal offered to them to sign for the football club. So in answer to your question, yes, everybody that we've spoken to has agreed to come back for the new season, yeah.
Next one.
Any look at another goalkeeper to challenge Mr. Whitehouse yet?
Definitely, yeah. But, I mean, going into step 3, be nice to have 2 players for every position. And I've just mentioned to you about James Bowen coming on board. That gives us 2 left-sided left backs or left-sided defenders, which we haven't really had at the football club because Alex Curtis has been injured for the amount of time I've been here, really. Also signed Jack Sherratt, so that gives us a left-sided balance. So in terms of bringing in players that give us balance, we've got a number of left-footed players now, which really pleases me. And the other area, other than left back, is a goalkeeper position, which worries me. I've got to be honest that we haven't got somebody else. Adam doesn't worry me, but what worries me, we haven't got somebody else that we can turn to via suspension, injury, or lack of form. Tried it last year by bringing James Renning in pre-season, and as soon as it was known that Adam was going to be the number 1, James moved on. And it's really difficult at step 4 and at step 3 to carry 2 goalkeepers. It just is. But we've got 2 goalkeepers coming in pre-season who are step 4. One of them step 4, one of them step 3 to do their pre-season with us as trialists. And I think one out of those 2 will sign for us. Basically to put Adam under pressure, and we've spoken to Adam about that, and he knows that there needs to be another goalkeeper at the football club, whether that be a youthful upcoming goalkeeper or someone with experience to put him under pressure. Every player should thrive and should be trying to better himself by knowing that there's somebody else that wants the shirt, and that's the one position there that we haven't really got 2 players for that position. Everywhere else, right back, centre mid, forward areas, we've got 2 players for every position. One thing we have done, and I think this will help, is obviously we've brought Paul Hayward to the football club, who's a goalkeeping coach that I've worked with, me and Nick have worked with for 5 seasons at Rushall. You probably know him, he played for the football club, played for Stafford Rangers, so you know him. So, good character, he is the best goalkeeping coach in the West Midlands without a shadow of a doubt. You get goalkeepers ringing you asking you, can we come and do our pre-season with you, because we know you've got the best goalkeeping coach. What he also brings to the table is he's just had 2 seasons at Rushall while we haven't been there, so he's got experience of step 3. So we're rocking up at Marine or Ashton or wherever the first Saturday that the fixtures come out, and we've got a little bit of knowledge on the management team, which is good. So that will help. But I also think it will massively improve Adam, massively improve him. And we want to keep Ian Moffat within the football club because he's got a role to play. We've offered him a role as like a link development coach within the under-21s to the first team and helping spot talent in the local area. So we still have a role within the football club, but it was just we just couldn't pass up the opportunity of bringing Paul into the football club to help Adam and the other goalkeeper that comes on board. I sat down with a goalkeeper, I won't mention his name, but I sat down with a goalkeeper who 31 years of age, 3 or 4 weeks ago, who's experienced at Conference North level. And he wanted 3 times the amount of money that Adam is on. Three times and a bit more than the amount of money that Adam's on. And I wasn't prepared to pay that player that amount of money. And me and Nick sat down and looked at it and thought, well, is he that much better than Adam? After what we've just gone through and how well Adam's done. And is he worth that amount of money? Are we getting value for money? And the answer to that would be no. So we have invested some of that money in a better goalkeeping coach, and we'll bring in another goalkeeper to rival Adam for less money than what that goalkeeper wanted. So we're better off, and he will improve Adam. Okay.
Next one.
Can you ask Nick to go up the bar, Gary, first? Before we
Yeah. Where's Nick?
Bag carrier to the manager.
Alan?
You mentioned Alex Curtis, is there anything?
Yeah, doing really well. Spoke to him a couple of days ago. Obviously, he's had the operation, doing his rehab. He's got he's in university in Nottingham, but he's just about to come back for his break over the summer. But he's under a physio at the Nottingham University. He's done all his rehab, and he's just getting into the running part now, straight line running, and he's ahead of schedule. He will take part in summer pre-season. Whether that's twisting and turning at the early part, first and second week of July, I doubt very much. But he's ahead of schedule, building up the muscles, forever in the gym. Thanks, Al. Forever in the gym, building up the muscles around the knee. And you know, once you've had a cruciate knee ligament injury like he has, if you do the rehab the right way, and the muscle strengthening is done around the calf and the thigh and around the knee, you should never have a problem with that knee again. So I think we'll see Alex late August, early September maybe, into training. Whether he features for the first team, you know, mid to late September, he'll probably go out for a month on loan, get some football into him. But you know, there's definitely a place here for him. We want him back fit as quick as we can. You know, left-footed players, hard to find. We've been lucky this season. We brought 2 in over pre-season, which I'm absolutely over the moon about. The quicker we can get Alex Curtis back involved, the better.
Can I ask a question?
Of course you can.
Do you see Alex as a defender primarily or as an attacker?
A wide attacker. Yeah, I mean, young lad, developing, still growing really, but in the gym, building himself up. Did really well at step 4 at left back last season. I think he's a steady left back, but I think the league we're going into and the league we want to get into, I think he's probably going to be more beneficial as an attacking wide player, getting at full-backs rather than defensive responsibilities where, you know, he's not the biggest, not the tallest, and not the most physical, but definitely gives you something in the final third.
Will it change the way we play at all? In the sense that we'll be a bit more defensive to start with? Or?
Sorry.
Change the style of play next season.
We won't be changing the style of play, not really, no. What we'll try and do with the squad, there'll be a lot of the training sessions will be more focused on shape with and without the ball. The league we're going into is far more physical, very direct. Come across a lot of teams at step 3 that will be very direct and try and bully us, try and outmuscle us and be more physical than us. So first and foremost, we've got to make sure we can stand up to that, and I think we did that well last year. We did that to most teams we played against. We were very physical, tried to bully teams. We were direct when we need to be, but also could play in the final third. My philosophy on the way we should play won't change. We will try and play. We'll try and get the ball down and we'll try and play in the right areas, and that's in the final third, try and open teams up with pace and with width, which should be made a little bit easier this year with the signing of Rob Stevenson and Jake Jones, with natural wingers. But we want to try and get a big, strong number 9 target man to the football club if we can, so that when we need to be direct, we can be direct, but when we need to play and use the width of the pitch and use our pace and technical ability, we can do that. The biggest thing in step 3 that is different to step 4 is that you've got to be able to do both. And last year we were able to do both, but I don't think we were challenged that much on both aspects. More often than not, we bullied teams and we were physically stronger than them, whether we were direct or whether that was down the flanks in the forward areas. But next year, or this season coming, we will be challenged every week. And we've got to be able to do both from word go. Be direct, big, strong, powerful, physical, putting the ball into good areas and pressing the life out of teams. But at home, when the pitch is decent like it is, being able to get it down, open teams up with pace, moving the ball quickly and making sure we use the width. Hence the signings, Chris Taylor, Mitchell Tolley, passers of the football, short range, long range passes, width, wingers that can put the ball into the box quickly, and if we can get a big number 9 in, someone that can put the ball in the back of the net as well. Good, cleared up. I met him last week to make sure we get him signed up and all done. Got no ambitions about going anywhere else. Feels he owes the football club because we haven't really seen much of him. Fit, ankles all sorted, no problems at all. Done all his rehab. Looking forward to getting back to pre-season. And he feels he's got something to show, and he feels he owes the football club. The football club have been great to Jake Jones. He's obviously had 2 really bad injuries. Had 2 bad injuries, and he feels he owes the football club. And like I say, the football club looked after him, insurance, got all his insurance money for the 10, 11, 12 weeks that he was off injured. And he wants to put a little bit back in. And once he's fit and he gets through pre-season, he will be a real asset to the football club.
Last season, we were the big fish in that league. This season, you think teams are going to raise the game like last year, the other teams played? Because we're not big as some of the other teams in this league.
No, definitely. Like I just said, every week will be a test. We only got to look last season at the results in the Northern Prem. Quickly, who the season before that were just stayed up, just battled against relegation. They're taking points off, top 6 sides, and anybody can beat anybody in that league. And step 3 is all about knowledge of the opposition you're playing against, what their philosophy is, if you like, how they play, whether they're big, strong, physical and direct, or whether they get it down. Nantwich, obviously one of the teams that try and get it down and out-pass you, or a Marine or an Ashton that smash it long and try and bully you. So you've got to have good knowledge, good information on the teams you're going up against, and be able to counter both, and be able to play against both. But every week will be a challenge, and just because we might be playing a bottom 3 or a bottom 4 side, and hopefully we're in and around that top 10 throughout the season, it will be a challenge, and teams will take points off each other right through the season. It will be, again, how consistent you can be over that period. When other teams are losing 1, winning 1, drawing 1, if we can be consistent through the tough period right up and beyond Christmas, hopefully we can challenge. Phil?
You made it quite clear you won't give players proper contracts. Now, I admire you for that because obviously it's saving the club money. We've heard of spending law dishing out contracts left, right and centre. Do you know what the situation is at other clubs in our league, whether or not the Bulldogs are on contract or pay-to-play contracts?
I will give a contract, Phil, to somebody that's worth it, and we're getting value for money, and there's a salon for the football club, and it benefits the football club, i.e. if somebody comes in for them we get a transfer fee, or we're putting that player on contract because we guarantee he's going to score 25 goals a season or 30 goals a season, and if he isn't on contract, we're forever having 7-day approaches from football clubs because he's non-contract. So if it's beneficial to us as a squad of players and beneficial to the football club, we'll put anybody on contract, simple as. The lads that we've lost, and one of the lads potentially we're losing because we never offer contracts, they were decisions that I made for the benefit of the football club. I don't believe it was right to put Josh Craddock on contract. Simple as, that's a personal decision. He's been fantastic for this football club and will be next season. He gives his all, week in, week out, and he's a star player for us. But he picks up bookings, he picks up a lot of bookings, 15 last year, 8 games he was banned for, and he misses the first 3 of this season. He's 24, 25 years of age, and he can't change, and he will not change the way he plays, which means he will get bookings and he'll miss football matches. We can't afford to have players sitting in the stand watching on contract and paying out money. We just can't, and it doesn't sit, whether the directors might think I'm wrong, but as a manager of the football club, it doesn't sit right with me, so therefore it won't happen. Obeng, he left for the security of having his money guaranteed for 12 months of the season. for the same amount that we offered him. So he's left to join a club that's further down the motorway, so he's going to be worse off petrol-wise and expenses, but he guarantees money week in, week out. And, you know, we're not changing our stance on that because the player feels he benefits by signing the contract. So that never happened. What do other clubs do? I think other clubs would probably, at this level, would do the same as what I or me and Nick do. If there's value for money in putting somebody on contract, right for the squad, or right for the football club in terms of selling them on and getting a transfer fee, then we'll do it. But if it's not, then they'll stay as non-contract, and if there's an approach from another football club, because they're doing well, or that club wants them, then that player's got a decision to make, and you would hope, you know, that they want to stay.
A couple of questions really about forward line. You mentioned about bringing a target man in. Does that mean you see Christian maybe dropping more back into midfield? And then also, with losing Ben, are there any potential players at step 4 that we might be trying to attract, or do you see them having to be at a higher level, coming down to step 3 or already at step 3 for the 20 goal season?
Yeah. I think that I'll answer the first part about Christian. I think he's done really well for us as a no, I wouldn't say makeshift striker, but as a striker. Changed his game, scored goals, created goals, and was a presence. And you talk to people in and around non-league, and everybody fears him because of his size and his presence. And I do really think he can have an impact at step 3 as well. But I talked earlier about having 2 players for every position, and as it stands, you know, in terms of know-how and experience at the level, we've only really got Christian as a number 9. I know we've not got Ryan Winter, but he's a young boy learning his trade, and if we can, I'd like to bring in what I call a proper number 9, somebody that can hold the ball up, big, strong and powerful, who can play, but will also try and, you know, bully defenders and win that physical battle. And that's what we're trying to do. If we get the player that I'm chasing, then we've got 2 really good number 9s, and that'll be good for Christian. One, because he'll learn off that player, because of what the player I'm trying to get, he's experienced and he's a proper centre forward. So that will benefit Christian. And 2, we can drop Christian back into midfield. So we've got a player that can play in 2 positions. What you have to take into account, which you guys probably don't know, is that Josh Craddock is banned for the first 3 games of the season. So is Mitchell Tolley, who's joined us. So we're 2 midfielders light for the first 3 games anyway. So it's imperative that, you know, we get another forward on board, because it looks like Christian will be playing in the middle of the park for the first 3 games anyway. So he's juggling balls all the time, but knowing that Christian can play in the middle of the park and up front is a bonus. So if we can get another number 9 in, that would be great. And I think we will. You know, if I was a betting man, that would happen probably over the next couple of days. The answer to your question about Ben, you know, we've got to try and replace those goals, because 25 goals at step 4, he would have probably guaranteed us 15 at step 3 maybe. Just his all-round energy and work ethic would have created goals for the football, for the team as well. And we haven't got that, so we've got to try and do something with regard to that. We've got a couple of trialists coming in from step 4 who have asked to come to try and prove themselves at step 3, and 2 of those are players that did well at step 4. I think it was good that we've got Nathan Rooney back involved, because he scored a lot of goals from midfield, so we've almost guaranteed that we'll get a goal return there, and obviously Christian's goals as well. So although we've lost Ben's goal, we haven't lost goals from around the pitch.